Hello everybody, Ace here, getting to you straight with day 76 of the Video Log Challenge, and today I wanted to talk to you all about the dream state and what the heck is actually happening when we go to sleep. So, I don't know about y'all, but over the last year, my dreams have been intense. I don't usually remember them, but I know they are intense because I usually wake up feeling like I just ran a freaking triathlon. As of late, it's kind of calmed down a little bit. I know we're still doing a lot of work. I know we did a lot of work on New Year's Eve, especially if you identify as a starseed or a way show or a light worker or a light warrior or any of that. You need to really bring this into yourself and try to feel it. You're always doing work. That's what's so crazy, is that sometimes some people say that this simulation that we're in, this vehicle and this form and this reality, is actual dream state. That's what the Totecs said. Who was it? Don Miguel Ruiz. He wrote the Four Agreements. I'll leave the link below. Four Agreements is one of the greatest books I've ever read because it simplifies our path through and really helps to break down Barney style what Christ consciousness is. Because the Totecs, who were, I believe, the first civilization in South America, that the first advanced civilization in South America, the Mayans and the Aztecs actually assumed their structures. So a lot of people believe the Aztecs and the Mayans built all those ruins in South America and Peru and Bolivia and in the Amazon and all that, but in reality it was the Totecs. And even some say the Totecs were ancient Egyptians that had come down after Atlantis fell. Thoth went to Egypt, and then he also went across the world teaching the indigenous peoples all about masonry and all about science and health and finance and all that stuff that they brought from other worlds down here to help our civilization grow. And what happened over time, and why you see those ruins, why you see modern fixes are actually less integral than the original masonry, is because over the millennia those people lost the skills that and the technology. Even they say that they took giant magnifying glasses and used the magnifying glass in the sun to melt all of the material that they then poured into place to make the pyramids as perfect as they make them. And there was a really good documentary. I don't know if I could find it anymore. It was a French documentary that just came out last year. I was talking all about how the ancient Egyptians actually poured their granite and poured their sandstone and poured their marble, just like the Greeks did and just like the Romans did, where the Greeks and the Romans actually took their masonry secrets from the Egyptians and tried to say it was them. I'm getting a little off topic. I just wanted to preface with that. So what happens when we're in this dream state, which is this reality, is apparently a dream state to the Totecs, right? So what they say is that we're in a dream state when we're in form, that real life is outside of form. That's why there are no past lives. It's all just one now moment. And this is a way for us to come in and almost expedite our healing, expedite our education, expedite our learning so that we can grow our souls faster and faster. The whole experience with Earth going from 7D to 5D, with Atlantis and Lemuria civilizations falling, with fourth dimensional beings coming down and taking control of third dimensional humans and all that, that's free will. You know what I mean? But in the way I look at it from the Godhead, if you take it 100,000 feet up or 1,000,000 feet up, whatever you want to look at it, you step yourself out the Milky Way galaxy, everything's happening for us, everything happening is perfect. So who's to say it wasn't designed to be exactly how it's going to be? Just like in our dreams, right? When bad things happen, I mean, we feel weird about it, but we don't take it super personal. I mean, some days we can wake up and we're a little upset about the dreams we've had. I've had a whole day where I've just been messed up from a dream, but in reality, we know that's not us. And so if we could take that same principle and apply it to our life, what if this was a dream state? That means that anything that we do in this state, there is no good or bad or right or wrong. We're all just trying to figure it out because we're in a dream. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. But I wanted to break down, what is the dream world? What is the quantum field? What happens when we sleep? And what are we gaining access to? And something I've come to understand about myself as I've gone further down this ascension journey, as I've brought in more light, as I remembered who I was, and I've accessed more of the elements, my superpowers, so to speak, my ability to channel, my ability to know things, and I don't know why. But I've always had these powers. I just never really trusted them, or I thought they were normal. I'm just now starting to decipher, what's mine, what isn't. And on top of that, these gifts I've had my whole life that I have been using, I'm now actually able to tell what they are. I'm able to take them out by themselves, look at them, and see how I can work on them to improve them moving forward, which has actually brought a lot more calmness to my life. It's actually brought a lot more fulfillment to my life, and it's been an excellent journey all along. And so what I've come to understand, especially when we go into deep meditative states, because to me, a deep meditation, like a theta or even a delta wave, you're on the fringe of that dream state. I get to the point sometimes where I'll start like nodding off because I'm like right on the fringe. I call it, I'm at Twilight, where you're between consciousness and unconsciousness, where you're between a conscious meditation and unconscious dream state. And in that time frame, like in that position, or in that frequency or vibration of consciousness, is where you get the most profound of your messages, because your ego has gone completely asleep and you're not so judgmental of the things that you're seeing, feeling, understanding, and being imbued with. And so something I've realized that happens to me a lot when I get into this state is I'll start to assume the action of whatever I'm dreaming about, so to speak, or whatever I'm meditating about. So there's been a time where all of a sudden I'm dreaming and I'm holding a strawberry on a fork, and I'll take a bite of it, and all of a sudden I'm in that dream state, and in my physical body in real time, I'll feel my mouth reach when I'm meditating with my eyes closed, and I'll try to take a bite and I'll catch myself doing it. I'm like, what is happening here? And it's been happening more and more as I've brought in more light, as I've gone deeper into this meditations and in this meditation skill, I guess, right? The strength of my meditations. And what I've been imbued with and what I started asking questions about it is basically when we go into that deep meditative, almost dreamlike twilight state, we're actually entering the multiverse. And so what's actually happening is when I'm biting something or I'm taking a bite, I'm actually in the multiverse. I may be in another form. I may be in another person's body with them at that time, experiencing that experience with them. And over the last couple of months, they're becoming a lot more vivid. So I remember the other day, this is what really got me asking some questions. I was taken to, I think it was like 1950s. I felt like I was in a gas station, an old school gas station, and there was a gas station attendant in the old school white get-up uniform with the little hat and stuff, looked like a fast food worker, like an old school McDonald's worker, and he's filling the refrigerator. I guess it wasn't called a refrigerator back then. It was called like a cold cave or something. But I think they would put ice in it and they would just keep it closed all day, and that's a way they were able to keep refrigeration. It might have been during the time of Freon when they first, whatever. The details don't matter as much. But he's bending over and he's putting Cokes in there, and I think he said the N-word or something. He said the N-word or something like that. And I said, whoa, we don't use that word anymore. He's like, oh, we don't? I'm like, no, man, we don't. No, that's not good, man. We don't do that anymore. He's like, okay, thanks for telling me. And it was just such a weird exchange because it felt real. It felt like I'm me in this form, hanging out with this guy in the 50s, almost like I'm time traveling and telling him, hey, we don't speak like that anymore. That's not helping humanity. And he understood it, accepted it, and actually ran with it. And so I started going deeper. I started asking more questions. I started going even deeper into my meditations and really trying to figure out what is actually happening here. Am I actually doing this? And what my higher self, guides, whatever you want to call it, they came to me, said is that yes, you, through your meditative practice, through clearing your temple, through walking this path of ascension, you've now gained access to the dream state, which is the multiverse. And if you can continue to work on this and you stay benevolent and continue to earn the right, you could go back in time. You can go at any point in time, anywhere at any point in time, and affect change in that memory and actually engage with it. So the other day, I think it was a day or two ago, I was meditating, and all of a sudden, I'm in Central Park, right, New York. And not me physically, but I'm in Central Park, but I'm not me. I'm in some other person's body because I remember I was in a man's body. He was a big dude too. He had some big ass forearms. He had dark hair. I'm pretty sure he was a brunette. And I remember sitting there and just being like, this is fucking weird. I was like, all right, can I try to walk? So I just got up and I started walking, and I remember two women walked past me. They were kind of arm in arm, and they like giggled and stuff, and then like walked by, and I guess they were attracted to me. And I felt like I felt like a big ass dude, probably like 6'4", 250, just stacked. I had like a nice blazer, I had a nice sweatshirt on and things like that. And it's just, what are the capabilities that we have? We don't know anything. We really don't. You could talk to all the Western doctors and scientists in the world, and none of them know what dream state is. None of them know where we go when we dream. No one knows what actually happens when we dream. And so what is it really? And is this even real? This reality, is this the dream state? Is this the simulation, which I believe it is? As real it is, I believe it is. And so who's to say that the way we live this life, or the way we live this life in this dream state, doesn't affect our path forward when we're in our dream world, or when we're in the corporeal form for those 4, 6, 8 hours that we're there? And think about it, the only way you can go into that dream state is if you go into a REM cycle, which pushes the cerebral spinal fluid up from your back, and it comes into your brain and it cleans it. It does this. It comes in and washes out, washes in, and does that. So every 2 hours you go into a 30-minute REM cycle. And during those 30 minutes is when you go into the deepest levels of trance-like dream, right? So is it because our body is now being cleansed and it's being cleaned? Our spirits can't be in it, so it has to go out of the body so the body can reset and refigure itself for the next time that it awakens? There's so many questions that we don't really know. But what they've basically come to me with and explain what these human vehicles are is we're literally fractals of God. That's the spirit, which I've talked about. But these vehicles, this is a quantum computer. And when we close our eyes, we're in the field of quantum. We visualize what it is that we want, or visualize something, right? And we actually start to assume those feelings. You can close your eyes and think back to a fond memory, and your heart will start to open, and you'll start to feel nostalgia, which kind of tells you, is time real? You know, is time actually real? And is it possible for us, like I was talking about in the other video, is it possible for us to go back into our own memory, change that timeline, change that event that was potentially really negative, and actually help affect our lives moving forward, not only in this, but all the other elements that we were, even if we've lived that life before? And because we're quantum computers, and this is our creative device, right? We create through our hands, through our mouths, even through our eyes and our energy. So we focus, we tune our God fractal of light, we tune it with this third eye, and we co-create our experience, because these are just giant quantum computers. And what's even more impressive is we're giant quantum computers that uses game theory. If you don't know about game theory, it's basically using mathematical thought equations to come up with the best move to any situation. So they do this in business, they do this in sports, they do it in economics. So if you're in true competition with somebody, you'll use game theory to game out the best possibility, and this is also what they call a looking glass technology. Now, everybody doesn't really know what looking glass is. Many people have heard what looking glass technology is. What I believe looking glass technology is a giant quantum computer that can run all possibilities, just like the universe has all possibilities. It can run all those possibilities through game theory and come up with the best outcome. And that is how the elites, right, the Cabal, have been able to control the Earth for so long, is that they don't control Earth itself. They control what we perceive to be real, to be not real, to be happening, to be not happening. And that's why narrative control is so important. And that's why our narrative control is so important, because if Hollywood externally is as powerful as it is against us and against the world, then imagine what our own Hollywood in our heads can be for our lives, or against us in our lives. So that's going back to this idea that we are quantum computers that use game theory. It's basically looking glass technology. And who's to say that the quantum computer that people were using, they're saying that the white hats or the patriots or whatever you want to call it, they're using looking glass technology so that they know exactly what the bad guys are going to do before they do it. But who's to say that quantum computer, that looking glass technology, isn't another human who's just raised their vibration? Think about remote viewing. Think about the CIA and everything that they did with remote viewing. They were able to literally take people and put them in war rooms across the world through remote viewing and through, I forget what it's called, where basically you can like make a holographic version of yourself and you can put it anywhere and you can actually engage with people. And they say that's kind of how a lot of these prophets and things that they saw are like people being in two places at one time. It's them projecting themselves because, again, we're that powerful. We're quantum computers. And we're using game theory, which I really do believe we use game theory, because if you think about it, it's just all the possibilities you come up with in your head. And if you've had trauma in your life, and if you're a overthinker, right, which to me is just from being trauma, if you've had trauma at a young age, you tend to be an overthinker because you want to make sure that you have all the possibilities so that you can't be taken for surprise. And that's safety and that's survival. And so the way I look at it is I took that hypervigilance and I've now been able to apply it to these big theories I get, to business, to history, and now I can see all of these floating possibilities around, and I can start interconnecting them into order, into a chronological order, and start making sense of it all in my head, in the quantum. And so what they basically came to me with is when I'm in that deep meditative state, I can literally visualize, I can imagine myself being pulled outside of this universe to where all of a sudden all I see is a matrix of the multiverse where there's just like little marbles. And I can then choose which multiverse, which universe in that multiverse I can go into, which date, which time, which event, and I can start actually messing with it. And as long as I continue to do the right work at the right time, as long as I continue to do this with benevolence, with love and with light to try to help to the best of my ability, I will continue to gain access and more access. But we all have this access. That's the whole reason they want me to come and talk to you guys about this right now. It's not just me who's a quantum computer. It's not just me with looking glass technology built into my DNA. It's not just me with these skills and with these strengths. No, every single human being. You have to be a human being, which means you have to wake up, surrender something bigger than yourself, heal, do the whole thing, right? And it's gonna just be given to you. You're not gonna give the keys to the kingdom to a toddler. It's not gonna happen. And so you gotta go through the trials and tribulations, right? Misapplication of energy of thought through the ascension process to clear yourself, to clear your temple, to gain access. And the access is to the quantum realm, to the multiverse. And then you start believing. That's the hard part, is I'm gaining access to all this stuff. I don't really have any relevance to anything else. People I talk to don't really understand what I'm saying. And so it's a lot of self-trust. It's a lot of self-discovery. It's a lot of me going deep within it and trusting what I'm seeing and just using my imagination and just keep going with it. But what really, really helped me was the Hemi-synch. The Hemi-synch helped so much because it takes you into a almost, what do I call it? Hypnosis state. And it gives you, it takes your ego away and it just gives you little prompts to follow. And it starts helping you practice with your imagination, practice with visualization, and from there, everything starts to open up. So I hope you gain a little bit more clarity on your path today. I hope you get a little bit further on your journey. I hope you can bring in a little bit more love into your heart so you can realize that you are an exceptional human being. You are a quantum computer in form who has access to the multidimensionality of this universe and has nothing left to figure out but just to be. It's going to be the hardest, easiest thing you ever do. I appreciate you all so much. If you liked what you've seen and heard today, hit that like button. If you want to join the Army of Energy, hit that subscribe button. If you want to check me out on Instagram, I still haven't really done anything with that. I might get up on there too, but you can check me out at army_of_energy, Army of Energy on Instagram. On day 66 of Dirt, Game Changer, brand partner. If you really want your vitality back, if you want to clear this temple, if you want to remember your dreams, if you want to gain access to the multiverse, detox your body, detox your brain, decalcify your pineal gland, Dirt helps with that. Hit me up if you want to learn more. If you want to donate to my work, I got my links below. I'd be so grateful. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day, an even better evening, and I will see you all at the same time tomorrow. Take care and goodbye.